Canada was the first country in the world to say that it would not be sending our athletes to the Olympic Games in Japan during this pandemic. That might not be what the competitors wanted to be first at, but it was meant to protect them. How are they feeling about all this right now? Let us ask these two folks in Toronto via Skype. One of this country's greatest ever athletes, Marnie McBean, the three-time Olympic gold medalist in women's rowing, now chef de mission for Canada's Olympic hopefuls. And in Winnipeg, Manitoba via Skype, Skylar Park, who was set to compete for the first time at the Olympics this summer in Taekwondo. And we are delighted to welcome both of you to TVO tonight. Skylar, maybe I can start with you. When did you find out that you'd qualified to go to the Olympics in Japan?
So I found out actually in December that I had pre-qualified. We were in the middle of our final Grand Prix tournament, so it was the final event that the points would count towards our rankings to qualify for Tokyo. So I found out kind of in the middle of competition.
And what's your training routine been like?
It's been pretty crazy. My dad's my coach. My two younger brothers are my training partners. So we're training 3 times a day, 6 days a week, all together. Yeah.
So let me ask the obvious question. When you found out that Canada was not going to send athletes to Japan, regardless of what the Japanese government was going to decide, what were your thoughts?
I think my first reaction, obviously, I was heartbroken. I didn't really understand the whole situation, not only with just the Olympics, but just around the world. It's just kind of hard to understand what's going on and the severity of the situation. But in the end, we knew that this was the right decision and a decision that had to be made. And I'm glad that Canada took that leadership role in making that decision for the athletes to keep us safe, not only as athletes, but just as a greater community of Canada and the world.
Marnie, before I ask you about the decision, maybe for those of us who don't know what a chef de mission actually does, we can start there. What's your role now?
Yeah, so a chef de mission is the head of delegation for an Olympic team. And I used to joke that the chef is like the queen, right? Honestly, I would say that the chef is like the queen because we have a prime minister who makes all the big decisions. Because the Canadian Olympic team is very professional and we've had people doing the operations and logistics for years. So I don't come in on those decisions, but I do come in on what are supposed to be the simple things like issues management and, team morale, team unity. And I never thought that the issues management part of my portfolio would be activated so early. Like usually it's like someone comes home with a medal and they're being too loud in the village and we have to ask them to be quiet. So no, this is issues management, like 5 months
Big
too
time.
early.
I hear you. Now, were you consulted by anybody in the Prime Minister's office or the Minister's office as to whether or not Canada should forego going to the Games?
Absolutely not. I believe it's actually the other way around. We've been informing the PMO's office, talking with them, not myself, but just keeping them up to date with what we're thinking as an Olympic team in the same way that they're informing us with the health and safety information they have. They have always been a partner in our decision in that we say we have been discussing with the IOC, the World Health Organization, Canadian health professionals, our own chief medical officer. And that's actually where it all kind of ramped up in waiting for information from the IOC. Everyone talks about it now. On Sunday, the IOC, well, everyone in our world talks about it. So on Sunday, the IOC put out a memo saying that they were committed to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. They were not planning on canceling them. So that was great. We were very happy to receive that as this, overseeing task force on how Team Canada was managing the COVID-19 pandemic. But partnered in that memo, they didn't take July 24th off the books. There was a suggestion that they're going to talk about postponement and that they were going to come back to us in 4 weeks and confirm that. And in discussion with everybody and watching the leadership from our federal government, watching the leadership we've seen from all the provincial governments, we knew we had to step in with the same sort of leadership for our team. And we were so sorry, like sending out the message to athletes like Skylar that Team Canada wasn't going to go in July was the hardest email I've ever had to send. and that was a decision made by a lot, but it was from my inbox. Unfortunately, no, not athletes. Not all athletes are tied to their email the way a lot of I'll refer to us as average people, normal people. But I think a lot like Skylar went into shock, like just Team Canada's not going to the Olympics. And now what does that mean? And it took a little unraveling for us to get them through the next 36 hours. And gratefully the IOC stepped up and also they confirmed once Canada said, look, it's not safe for us to ask our athletes to figure things out. Although Skylar, you've got a good setup there. You can just beat up on your brothers, and that's called Olympic training. Like that's, I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
You guys
on behalf
can
of brothers,
social distance
I'm going to speak on behalf of brothers
Yes,
everywhere. I'm not sure that's such a good idea. Skylar, but I do want to ask you about this, Skylar, because first of all, how old are you? Can I ask?
Yeah, I'm 20 years old.
You're 20. How long have you been doing Taekwondo?
For since I could walk. So my whole family does Taekwondo. There's 16 black belts in my family, so it's just kind of what we do. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to infer from that it's safe to assume that this is a dream, participating in the Olympic Games for Canada, that you have had for, well, certainly more than at least half your life, if not longer than that, and everything has been designed in your life to lead you to this July in Japan, and now it's off. And I want to get a greater understanding of how when you structure everything in your life towards a particular moment and then it's taken away, I just wonder how you deal with all that.
Yeah, so like you said, my whole life basically has been dedicated to this dream. I've had this dream for as long as I can remember, to represent Canada at the Olympic Games and hopefully win a gold medal. So my whole family, it's not only me sacrificing so much, but my whole family has sacrificed so much and worked so hard to turn this dream into a reality for not only myself, but my brothers have this dream as well. So once I had qualified in December, we were obviously super excited and we started our preparations. And then hearing the news on Sunday, I actually heard from my dad. He called my whole family downstairs to kind of tell us the news, because he'd heard from our high performance director at Taekwondo Canada. And it was heartbreaking. And our greatest fear was that the Olympic Games would go on without us. And I think that was kind of hard to wrap my head around. And that was kind of what was going through my head over and over. But at the end of the day, when the IOC made the decision to postpone the games, we were happy and excited. And I'm a younger athlete, so I have a lot of room to grow. So it's exciting to see how good I'll be and how much stronger and faster and smarter I'll be in a year's time.
Yeah, I guess that's the point. If you were a 34-year-old, an extra year would be presumably much more significant than if you're a 20-year-old. But having said that, is there a bit of a letdown at this point, knowing that everything was aiming for July of 2020 and now you've got a whole other year to wait?
Yeah, there obviously is, especially this being my first Olympic Games. Everything's new to me and everything's exciting. So I was super excited to, with everything leading up, and then to be in the Olympic Village in July and be there with all my teammates and just step onto the Olympic mats. That was a feeling that I was waiting for and excited for, but it'll just have to wait, and I'll just have to keep working hard to be even better when it does come my time to be there.
Well, let me get Marnie to follow up on that, because obviously, Marnie, you've been through this at the highest levels in the world. You have succeeded at the highest levels of the world. But I wonder what it might have done to your training regimen, let's say, if, again, everything was designed to be absolutely peak ready to go at a certain date and time and place, and then you knew it was going to be 365 days later. What does that do to your preparation?
It's going to feel like 365 years. I think, the first thing is it's really hard, because athletes have known, like Skylar, the date. She probably could have looked at an Olympic calendar and known exactly what date her final will be on, and she's going to know the progression of how to get there. I would have known. I remember things like I think Barcelona it was going to be July 27th at 10:20 in the morning was going to be the women's pair final. I knew that for years. I knew it was going to be 6 lanes, and the way my career was tracking, I knew I was going to be in lane 3 or 4, right? I knew a lot of things. If I didn't screw up, that was where I was going to be. And so when you change all that, athletes don't like change at all. Athletes love routine. Like I could probably say, Skylar, what do you do Tuesdays at 10 a.m.? And she's like, oh, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. is this, because there's a routine to our week. So we're not good with that, but we're also very good with resilience and change. And, athletes get injuries, and sometimes time is a blessing. We've seen one of our flatwater canoeists, Laurence, this year is a blessing for her because she had a false positive on a drug test. And so a year more is going to be advantageous to her. For me personally, if the games had moved a year forward, I would have been able to identify. I had to withdraw 3 weeks from the games. I flew to Australia to compete in Sydney, and I lost those Olympic games. If someone had said, you get to come back in a year, I might have more medals in the women's singles. There's even as an older athlete, sometimes it helps you manage an injury. But all of this is kind of moot, because the thing I was most proud of as a chef is when we sent out this decision, and however athletes found out, whether it was from their national sports federation, which is what was supposed to happen, then whether it was from me, athletes like Skylar talked about being brokenhearted and broken and crushed. All of these words were coming out, and frustrated, and some of them were mad at Canada because they thought we were holding them back from a games that might happen in July. We were pretty certain that we weren't. But after all of that disappointment, Canadian athletes have added that they understand, and that they get that right now sport needs to take a backseat, that the Team Canada of Olympic Team Canada, which was going to be 400 plus athletes, is now part of the bigger Team Canada. We are one Team Canada, which is 37 plus million people. And now our role in training for that Team Canada is helping to lower the curve. I think they don't even call it social distancing anymore. It's physical distancing. And we're going to do everything. Team Canada is not looking, the athletes, we're not looking for opportunities to be exceptions to the rule. We want to be leaders in the rule, role models, and say, look, we're not looking for opportunities to go out and open up gyms for us. We'll figure out how to train in our homes, how to train in open spaces that are safe, that are away from other people. And I'm very proud of our Olympic team's position on that.
When this eventually does happen, these Olympic Games, presumably, a year from this July, when hopefully COVID is behind us and the world can get together and celebrate, the Olympics obviously are, I guess it's this and the Soccer World Cup, it's the biggest gathering of people anywhere in the world at any time.
Yep.
And I wonder whether you could speak to, I guess, the responsibility that all of you will feel at that time to really demonstrate for the world that COVID's behind us and we're back together again, and we're competing, and we're trying to get life back to normal here. Do you feel the weight of that responsibility on you?
I think we always do. Like, Steve, I remember watching our federal election, thinking how divided we were as a nation, going, oh, I can't wait for the Olympics, because this will bring us together. Sport brings us together. It's that thing that can bring neighbors into a conversation, going, oh, did you see the soccer team last night? Or did you see that swimming medal or that taekwondo medal? That was so amazing how that happened. It brings a nation together. And then before I had this concept that the Olympics were actually not going to be in this July, the videos of the Italians singing out of their balconies and banging the pots, I was like, oh, wow, isn't that going to be amazing when Italy wins its first gold medal? How it's going to be, how emotional Italians singing that anthem is going to be. And now I get, the World Health Organization says COVID-19 is in, I think, 190 countries. And so pretty soon it's going to be in that pretty much covers the Olympic family, which is, I think, 210. I think the participation in the Olympics and the joyful, peaceful, cooperative competition of athletes coming together, representing nations, has the potential for being that feel good that everyone can go, oh my God, how did we get through that? That was, that you could add in. I don't know how we're going to describe it. We might possibly describe the time we're about to come into. I think Italians already will. It's horrific. and we're going to come through this, and then the lights are going to come on, the windows will be open, and fresh air is going to come in somehow. And if the Olympics can be part of that process of making people feel a national pride and joy, because this is something globally we have to get together and do. It's not going to be just one place does it. Globally, we have to beat this pandemic. And so I think seeing people come together and the physical performance of overcoming and that demonstration of resilience, I think we should probably be giving out gold medals to our healthcare frontline workers. But that kind of performance is going to be incredible. It kind of already gives me goosebumps thinking about it, probably because I unfortunately remain naive to what we're about to come into.
I'm getting the same goosebumps you are just hearing you the way you describe it, Marnie. Thanks so much for coming on to TVO tonight. That's Marnie McBean, just plain and simply one of our greatest athletes ever, and Skylar Park, whom we wish all the luck in the world when you eventually get to Japan and compete for Canada in Taekwondo. Thanks so much, you two.
Thanks, Steve. See you, Skylar.
Bye.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.